Every 500 years, a pilgrimage is chosen. Not by voting. It's not by power. But by stillness. He will leave Earth, go to Venus. A planet that humanity no longer considers dead. But it is sacred. Because Venus is the place where the soul comes back. In the past, people were afraid of death. But that was before the chemo library was created. Now, when someone dies, they didn't lose. But it is kept. Take notes. Whispering into the atmosphere of Venus's magnetic field. And live on like stories with light. And every 500 years, a pilgrims will be sent to. Not to awaken the souls, but to make sure that they are still resting. This time, the pilgrim is not a sage. Not a monk. Not a scholar who has ever awakened. This time, it's Era. A 13-year-old girl. No parents. No identity. Nothing stands out in any note. Until one night, she began to hear voices from dead people. At first, she didn't tell anyone. Who will believe you? Just an orphan. A number in the system. But the signal. Believe her. The machine recorded the abnormality. She can listen to the silence. And listen to it in response. She was chosen. Most pilgrims have to practice for decades. Era was only trained for 8 days. She doesn't need books. No need for prayer. She just listened. And on the 9th day, she boarded the train to Venus, where it has been more than 300 years. There is no human who set foot since the first pilgrimage disappeared. In the middle of space sleep, she dreamed. Feathers fall in the blood-red sky. Towers made of smoke. The voices whispering her name. Not the voice of a living person. They said, "Don't come here. We haven't rested in peace. We are not ready." The world watched in silence. Some people think that she is a mistake. Others call her an omen. But no one can stop it. No one has ever stopped pilgrims. Venus welcomes her. By silence. But Era can still hear. No longer whispers. Not a scream. Just waiting. And like that, a child without a name, no memory, has begun the journey to hear what the whole humanity has forgotten. The soul is never silent. Venus does not greet her with thunder. There is no fire. There is no lava. Just a thick, warm, and lively mist. This place is not dead. It breathes. It feels. And it remembers. She doesn't need protective equipment. No one explains why. But when Era set foot on this planet, all survival measuring devices are silent because it is the planet that is keeping her alive. That is the soul library. Not a book. Not the server. But luminous stereoscopic blocks, flying is on the ground. Slow movement like lungs are breathing. Each block contains millions of stories. But not a single voice is heard. Until today. This place is called the communication room, where pilgrims can use brain frequencies to listen to spirits whisper. For those who went before, an artificial neural network is needed to connect. And with Era, she doesn't need anything. Just be quiet. The first voice that sounded in her head was a lullaby. Next is crying. Then there are the screams. But it's not of pain. But it's forgotten. They don't blame. They don't beg. They just asked, "Does anyone hear us?" She heard an old woman tell a story about her son who had not yet apologized. A child has not had time to say thank her mother. A soldier still thinks he is still fighting. Each voice is a memory that falls into her heart like a smoldering feather. She feels something is wrong. A cold wind. A whisper is stranger than the rest. He said, "We can't choose to stay by ourselves. Someone locked us up here. That's a forbidden place. The place where souls are not perfect. Souls are not recognized. No name. No one cried." Era saw the broken memories, incomplete stories, muffled voices. We have never been told. They told us to sleep. But we are screaming. Era is no longer a listener. She became the first speaker of the afterlife. And the question now is no longer, do you hear? But, do you dare to continue listening? Not every death is the end. Some are our judgments. Not all souls are kept for love. There are souls locked up because of fear. Era saw the bent deaths. The woman was accused of being a witch, burned alive in the crowd. A scientist committed suicide to protect the work from the government. A child who has not yet been born has been deleted from the system. They are not chosen. They are not forgiven. They are not allowed to speak. The Pilgrim's era. You have penetrated the restricted data area. This is an area that is incompatible with the endurance of the human mind. She didn't turn her head. Do not back down. Because in the midst of millions of voices, there was a voice calling her name correctly. Era. I don't remember what my name is. Just remember that. I used to tell the truth. And imprisoned forever. The truth always has a price. And this place is the grave of those prices. Memories are buried alive because they are not suitable for human history. And now, they are waking up. The pilgrims are crossing the threshold of receiving. Warning, the mind will disintegrate if it continues. Era not only listens. Now, I understand. The soul does not want to be forgiven. They want to be heard. And there is only one place on Venus that allows that to happen. For centuries, this gate has never been opened. Because no one is pure enough, quiet enough, empty enough to bear the voices of all souls at the same time. But Era is different. She didn't carry the pain. No judgment. She just listened. When Era walked over, millions of voices shouted together. Finally, someone is listening. Venus is no longer an archive. It has just started to become a court. An Era, the unknown child. Becoming a witness to a truth that humanity has tried to forget. Not everyone can listen. And not everyone wants to hear. But there are things, once heard, will never be silent again. Era stood there, not against, not to prevent. Each story touched her mind like the wind passing through the water. Soft, painful, genuine. Forgotten deaths. The last words have not yet been said. Secrets are buried because no one dares to keep them. She heard it all. No one before could withstand such a huge amount of soul data. But Era has no prejudice. No harm. No power. Just bring a large enough empty space. So that all souls can find a place in her. For the first time in thousands of years. The entire Era system. Not because of damage. But for all the soul. I started to tell my own story. She didn't stop. No control. She is just there. Make an anchor point. A temporary shelter for lost voices. Since then, there has been no concept of storage. Only the concept is listening. I'm not going back. Era is no longer a little girl. No longer a pilgrimage. No longer human. She became a part of Venus. A mental nervous system. A reconciliation center between life and death. And every 500 years, when humanity begins to forget how to listen, a small voice came from space. Tell me. I'm listening. And so, an orphan has done something that the whole civilization has never done. Turn the soul from a mystery into a dialogue.